energy can exist. We say energy exists between people. And is that energy? Is that this is a force because it needs to move? There's something that needs to move.
So where is the energy? Is the energy the thing or the connection between the things? The continually changing relationship between things? The pulsation, the attraction, the repulsion, the substrate? Does the substrate have the energy and not let it go? Does it depend on the substrate? Certain substances reflect heat, others absorb. Certain people reflect happiness and absorb sadness, vice versa. How do those beings and pulsations interact?
What is the energy between people? Is that between two people emerges a substrate calculated by their personality and their life experience and their emotional predispositions, and that allows energy to flow freely and be conducted easily like a metal, or it blocks it like a rubber and insulates it because of a disagreement or a fundamental difference in worldview or astrological signs. What is that energy flowing between people that says, I have a connection with you, or we are not compatible? What is that decides this potential for connection, for energy transference?
So do people decide on their energies, or do their experiences, their life experiences, decide on the energies? How much can the two be separated, and how much can they be knocked like a billiard ball by someone else's energy that wasn't even planned? By walking down the street and the gaze that you see knocking you into a different energy plane, the energy of things and not just people. The sun, when it shines, its energy, the rain, when it dampens, that energy, the smell, the growth, those energies affect one another.
Is it possible for us to decide? Well, something that came up was the idea of only having the option to block energy, but not create it when it is not, when there's not a channel there already. And so fear comes to mind, because fear is the first thing. It's a defense, the energy should not flow. It is too strong. I cannot let that energy flow. So fear constricts the pathway of energy. So relatively speaking, it should be possible to open that energy channel to a certain extent. But is that substrate, every material, every connection is different.
Momentum as energy that can't be stopped. But the only moment where there was no energy and then there was, bang, the big bang. Nothing to everything. From then, energy cannot just materialize, it needs to transfer. be blocked, be radiated, be accepted, be thrown out, be absorbed, be in sync. How do we get out of the cycles that are already pre-orchestrated? The momentum's already there.
That comes back to history, doesn't it? The cycles and exiting those cycles of momentum. Oh, wow. And yes, energy seems to be a negotiation of sorts as well, a collaboration and negotiation between two or more parties. Could be yourself and your ego, oneself and one's ego, or and myself, another person, a group of people, two religions, two societies, two planets. Everything reaches a point of negotiation, of homeostasis, that allows the energy to flow without being destructive. So where is our point of non-destructive energy?
Destruction, negotiation, who holds the energy? So much history is coming back into this. How do we negotiate those power sources of who deflects and who throws, so that it's not destructive, but it's just a transfer? Or is a transfer always a transfer of the living to the dying, to the shining, to the wilting? And as humans, how do we construct this energy, this aura that we project, that we might feel tired that day, or we might have a history that just weighs too heavy and doesn't allow us?
Keeping a balance sheet of the push and pull, updated with every second, every action, every movement, every flicker of emotion that manifests itself, is a transaction of the balance of push and pull, open, receive, donate. And some people spend their whole lives only pushing, only opening, only pulling, and that if they find each other, if two entities built like this find each other, maybe it works in harmony. And yet most people fall on the spectrum of an oscillation of responsibilities, of duties, of push, pull, open, penetrate.
The flickering oscillation between two people, the transaction, the balance sheet, the keeping score, the count. Do we expend our energy? Do we have finite energy? Can it just be infinite? There are days that it seems that energy recedes around us, and other days that it just seems to open and be boundless. Again, experience that day, the person, the others, the sunset, the screaming person next to you, all come into those flickering, oscillating accounts of how we live together and how we interact and transact and balance, this fine balance on a tightrope of energy.
Yeah, that was the fastest game that I've had so far. That was that went by really fast. I could talk another hour like that. That was nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to start. I've started playing kind of individual games just because you get quite involved in the glass bead game, and the idea of kind of playing longer games seems quite appealing, because sometimes it really you just want to carry on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
See where it takes us. I'm quite
yeah.
looking forward to, because when we go back to the main group, we now don't need to say what happened in your game. I think we'll just open it up.
Mm-hmm,
I'll
mm-hmm.
make sure that everybody's kind of pacing and there's not one person, but I think everybody paces themselves very well
Yeah,
together.
yeah, I think
And
so.
so it'll be really nice to see just what happens. It's interesting how the history was already modulated by the energy, and then the energy was remodulated by the history. And I
Yep.
didn't want it to confirm what was already happening, but it just did.